casualties. And I would attribute that to their stupid helmets and that armor, which completely limits their mobility in tighter environments. I mean, have you guys ever tried on full plate armor and, try to take a knee or just bend over? It's very hard to do. Plus, when stormtroopers have their helmets on, most of them end up firing from the hip and relying on their HUD for targeting, which might seem like a good idea, but doesn't really work that well because you're not really supporting the weapon properly. Also, the stormtroopers on the 10-4 really seem to lack cohesion and CQC training. Just look at their spacing and movement in the scene. There's no symmetry in their formation. These guys should be moving in at least pairs down the hallway so that they can cover each other. Instead, the lead man is kind of just hunched over, hesitant, and kind of hopping around back and forth, blocking everyone else's field of fire behind him. And this is supposed to be like an elite Marine-like unit that specializes in boarding actions. I mean, clearly, those stormtroopers are not those guys, but the people, these operators we see in Andor Season 2, I think those are the guys. You can tell they're operators. All of them have their helmets removed. The three individuals in the front have their weapons in a challenge position, whereas the trailing assaulter is at the ready but not flagging his guys with his own blaster. They're all moving very fluidly thanks to the lack of lower body armor, which, let's be honest, just slows you down and restrains your range of motion. When you take a look at the bald guy in the middle, he's actually wearing a segmented breastplate with the insulation suit underneath exposed. While offering less protection, this does give you increased mobility in case you have to go prone or twist around quickly. It's all built for close quarters kind of battle. Take a look at the rifles as well. They don't look like the standard E11, and each operator here has different attachments on their weapons. You can't really tell exactly what type of blaster this is and what kind of attachments are on it, but the thing I want to draw your attention to is that all of these soldiers also have rifle slings, which is just not something you see with standard stormtroopers in their E11s. So why do you have a rifle sling? Well, when you're on longer marches, it's kind of nice to not have to carry your weapon, you keep your hands free, but in CQC situations specifically, there are some advantages of having that sling. For one, it can serve as another point of contact for when you're holding the weapon, especially when you have something like an E11, right? The E11 doesn't have a rifle stock, so it is going to be a little harder to properly support. Like you see all these stormtroopers firing from the hip for this reason, probably. A rifle sling also secures that weapon too. So let's say you get too close in a doorway and some guy surprises you and tries to rip that rifle out of your hands. Well, no, it's attached to your neck. It's going to be hard for him to remove from your body. Another advantage is that rifle sling allows you to maneuver that weapon in weird positions, and if you need to fire vertically or around something, not that you should ever blend fire in these kind of environments, but yeah, it gives you the ability to move that rifle around and still remain attached to it. And then perhaps most importantly, let's say your blaster overheats, you can quickly drop your primary, let it hang at your waist, and go for your secondary, because even in the Star Wars galaxy, reloading is going to be slower than switching to your sidearm. These troopers also seem to be wearing much heavier shoulder pauldrons and wrist armor, which does severely limit movement. I mean, if you guys have ever played hockey or football, like unless you're using receiver pads and QB pads, it's going to really limit your range of motion, especially with how much you can raise your arms above your head. And so maybe that's not something you really need to do as much in a CQC situation, and these operators are sacrificing a little bit of upper body mobility for protection because, yeah, you are going to get hit in these kind of environments. That's why it's so dangerous. And if you take a look at it, when these guys are in the challenge position with the rifles, their wrist and shoulder armor does protect their chest quite well, giving them a little bit more additional armor. And also, these troopers all have their stomach plating removed to give them more ability to bend at the waist. I really like this little detail because I've always had a problem with the complete coverage of stormtrooper armor. I mean, it looks more like medieval plate armor than it does modern, ballistic armor. It's just not realistic, I think, to have every part of your body covered in plastoid